Alors, j'invite maintenant le réalisateur de Planemo, Veljko POPOVIC. Hi, Veljko.
Hi, morning.
Veljko, Planemo is a project that you pitched here in Annecy.
Sure, yeah.
A few years ago. Is it the same project, or if it evolved a lot since then?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm super happy to be here after pitching the project, and I was like so hopeful that the film will get into Annecy, and you know, my heart was really like out of my chest when Vanya said that we got into the selection. So that was really a special moment for me. I did pitch the film, and it was called 10 Things You Need to Know About Deers. So obviously it changed a bit. Because in this film, and this is my process, which I have with most of my films, they kind of develop as I go along. So I start with a certain idea which I have, and in this film it was the idea of having this society which is fragmented, where people are kind of lost in their daily routines. So this was the main focus. And then when I was exploring this idea, I also found out about these planemos, which are like planetary objects which are ejected out of a solar system and now are like these sentinels of the galaxy, just roaming the empty space of the interstellar space. So I kind of thought that this was a good relationship between the main character, who is also kind of ejected out of the society, and we have these planets which are also ejected out of the society. And also I really enjoyed how all of the planets move in these paths. So I thought also this is a great connection, because all of these people who are lost in their routines also just follow paths. So I thought it was a nice connection, and this is something which happened during the film, and then kind of I integrated it into it, and in the end it became a really strong point to the film, I think.
6 years ago, you did a film called My Way, yeah. And it was a completely different aesthetic, completely different kind of story. Before that, you did She Who Measures, yes. who was awarded here in Annecy. Where's the real Veljko Popovic?
Well, I think I'm a talkative guy, and I like to talk to people, especially in festivals. And I meet a lot of creative people, and immediately, because I like collaboration, I like working with other people. I think there are animators out there who kind of get locked into their own little world. And I'm a different kind of a guy. I like to collaborate, to find creatives which can kind of open me to other things which I normally wouldn't do. So My Way was a collaboration with a Croatian illustrator who was behind all of the illustrations and the story. So I was the director of trying to translate his ideas into moving pictures. So that's how My Way came to be. She Who Measures obviously was our first film we did. And then later on I did Father, which was a co-production between Croatia, Bulgaria, Germany. And that was a crazy film with 5 directors trying to create a film together, which was a wonderful experience. So I like to lend myself to other experiences, and this is how all of these different films come to be. But I think there's like a inner core in all of them which remains the same, and I would say maybe just trying to psychoanalyze myself after watching all of these films, because I'm also kind of surprised by what came out. I think that's this feeling of estrangement in today's society, which I think really lacks, and I think maybe is the focus which we need to get back, where people kind of are more together in their hearts. Today everybody's kind of locked into their little boxes. Maybe we should start living in the streets again, like in the old days. I remember when I was young, we would have like a table in front of the house, and then, you know, people would just come along, and you know, you would have coffees with like all of your neighbors and all of these things. These days, this is like science fiction when you talk about it.
Are you personally a very technical guy? When we look at a film like Planemo, there is a very strong aesthetic, and do you make your film evolve when you're animating, when you work technically on it, or everything was written at the beginning?
Well, I know none of you were there for the pitching session a few years back, but when I pitched the idea of these people lost in their trails, I really did not have any clue how we're gonna do this. I just had the idea maybe we would do something like long exposure photography or something where you kind of see the movement, all of these things, and then we go into it because I have I'm really fortunate that I have a studio of 5 or 6 friends. And we've been working so long together, so we kind of just take this idea and explore it, and then we stumble upon things. So all of these things are either happy coincidences or some kind of like forces larger than us which intervene. So I would say like I'm a maybe 30% author of the film, and then the rest is, I don't know, maybe one day I'll find out who's channeling these things.
Des questions venant de la salle. Martin?
Okay. Since the Planemos are an aberration in the solar system, and if you're trying to create a parallel between that and the person, in the character in the film, one would instinctively expect that the person who was the outsider, the outlier, would be the one who was depicted in the unorthodox methodology, the fragmentation, right? What was it that made you choose to instead have that Planemo person be the one in the most conventional style, and the others all be the aberrations?
That's a great question. I think, in my opinion, today the normal thing is the crazy thing, and the crazy thing is the normal thing. So in this sense, I wanted to kind of show a society where the only different person is a person who is whole and who is not fragmented. So in a sense, it's maybe it's a comment how I prefer to be called crazy these days, because I'm kind of afraid of what normal means today. So in the film also we have like this only normal person who's like diagnosed as a case that is completely lost. So that's the idea behind it. And also there's like this small thing, while he and the deer are the only 2 things which are in color also in film, which also is something that I wanted to have as a visual representation of just having this society which is kind of bland, and then having this one person which is full of life, but in the end he's not able to exist in such a society. And there's also one thing which is, at the end of the film, there's a photo of a guy, that's Emil Guy, actually, that's the name of him, and he's kind of, the background of the story has come from real life. I had a friend who was working in a corporate job in Spain, and they drove him to a breaking point where he just abandoned everything and moved into a cottage his father left him in Slovenia. And he actually died when he was visiting his daughter. When he returned back to society, he was killed in a train accident. So in a sense, when he was in the wilderness, in the forest, he was the happiest and the safest. As soon as he kind of returned back to civilization, he was like, ended up really tragically. So this is also something which kind of, and I didn't actually intend this to happen like this, but it left a mark. And these things, when you go into a process like filmmaking, these things kind of, they bubble up to the surface. So this is also something which I think is worth mentioning.
Thank you very much. Veljko Popovic.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.